Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego. It's time for a live stream. We've been on vacation. We've been gone for a week. I'm sure you all survived the time without us, but we're back on the air after being on vacation out west. We've been to all different places, and we're trying to make videos as quick as we can, showing you where we were going, what we were doing, and what we got up to. Remember, Karina is waiting now for immigration to respond to our 10-year green card application. We mailed it to Elgin, Illinois using UPS, and UPS said they delivered it to Elgin, Illinois on May 12th, 2026, and we included Form G 1145. They still haven't sent us a text message to say that they have opened the box and received the package. But when they open the box and receive the package, we will get notified. And then it's going to take about a year, maybe a year and a half for them to adjudicate Karina's 10-year green card. But we will get a letter of extension for her for 48 months, which needs to get here sooner rather than later. And it will be, it'll get here. We're not worried about it. We did everything by the book. Lots of people are concerned about the memo that just came out from USCIS. You know, everybody's watching these YouTube videos from immigration attorneys, and the immigration attorneys are scaring everybody to death. Well, I'm here to tell you that if you came into the United States on a K-1 visa and you were paroled by a U.S. Customs and Border Patrol officer, and you were given an I-94, and you were given 90 days to get married, and if you got married within 90 days, then you got nothing to worry about as long as you still qualify for the benefit. You understand what I'm saying? That memo is just saying if you came to the United States on a tourist visa or on a student visa or on a work visa, okay, depending on what kind of work visa, if you came in on let's say you came in on a tourist visa and then you married the guy or lady you've been talking to for the last year in the United States. In the past, immigration would cut you a break and they would say, okay, well, we understand you got married on a tourist visa. Go ahead and go ahead and file your green card for the 2-year green card application. That's not happening anymore. If you come to the United States on a tourist visa, you best be a freaking tourist. Go to the Grand Canyon, go to Disney World, go to the whatever, New York City. Be a tourist, and if you're going to meet somebody that you've been chatting to for the last year, then meet that person and hang out with that person. And if you decide you want to get married to each other, you can get married, but the foreign national is going to have to return back home to his or her foreign country. Let's suppose you came from Australia to meet your boyfriend on a tourist visa, or from England, or from Germany, or from the Philippines, or from United Arab Emirates. I don't care what country it is. If you came to this country on a tourist visa, and then you married the person you've been chatting to for the last year or two, you have to go back home to process the green card. You cannot file for the adjustment of status in the United States. It's not happening. I got to move the fan out of the way. It's not happening. Okay? And that's what the new rules are. I mean, that's always been the rule. Ever since immigration was creating the green card. The rule has always been, if you come over as a tourist, okay, and you meet somebody and you get married, you got to go home and process the spousal visa through consular processing or through the embassy. Okay? So the days of coming over to the United States, basically what the people were doing was they were finding that it was a lot quicker to get a tourist visa, come over to the United States, get married to this person, and then file for the green card. And then everybody who did it properly, like Karina and I through the K-1, or like our friends in Colombia through the spousal visa, Brian and Jacqueline, they did everything by the book. All right? We had to wait and wait and wait. What? It was 2 years we had to wait for the K-1 visa to get approved at the tail end of COVID. And yet these people were coming to the United States on tourist visas, getting married and filing for their green cards, and jump in the freaking line. jumping in front of us and you guys, jumping in front of those spousal visas, those folks waiting in Colombia and Peru and India and Pakistan, whatever. Those days are over. So when that memo came out, don't panic. If you came in on a K-1 and you were, paroled by the Border Patrol and, Immigration and Customs Enforcement and got an I-94 and you got married in 90 days and you waited for the K-1 visa to get adjudicated in your home country, in our case, Colombia. Karina was living in Colombia, and we waited and waited and waited and waited almost 2 years. Here she is. She got her K-1 visa. She got approved. She got her 2-year green card. She got approved. We filed for the adjustment of status. And now we've just filed on May 12th, USCIS in Elgin, Illinois, received her 10-year green card application. Like I said, they still haven't sent us a text message to say they've opened the box up yet, but they will. They'll get to it. Like Tempe, Arizona is moving a little quicker than Elgin, Illinois. So if you mail your 10-year green card application to Tempe, Arizona, it's going to process a little quicker than if it was sent to Elgin, Illinois. Why is that? I don't know. But that's the case. But don't panic. We have a receipt from UPS. UPS sent me a receipt saying that a person at USCIS in Elgin, Illinois, the I-751 processing team, received our 10-year green card application. They received it. The guy signed for it. We got evidence they got it. Now we're just waiting for them to open the box, break out the G1145, send me a text message. And they will. And if I don't hear from them in the next 4 weeks, I'm going to be contacting them. So, hey, what are you doing? Get to work. Do your job. I paid the $750. Get to work. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, we've been on vacation, so we didn't do any live streams, but now we're back from vacation. We're doing the live streams again. And if you have any questions on how to process a K-1 visa, how to process a 2-year green card, 10-year green card, spousal visa, K-2, I'm going to answer your questions for free. The only thing is, we just ask you is to be a subscriber in order to ask me questions. If you're not, you don't have to be a subscriber. But if you're not a subscriber, you can't get on here and ask questions. That screens out all the stupid people that sometimes that come on here who just try to disrupt everybody, trying to learn from the information that I give you. Okay, now, if you have a question, ask the question. You don't need to call USCIS. I have the answer right here. I've been processing K-1 visas and green cards for 13 years. Okay? 13 years. 13 años. And I'm not an immigration attorney. I don't give you any legal advice, and I definitely don't work for USCIS. Thank goodness for that. They got a stressful job, Think about the job they have and how stressful it is. But I do have 13 years experience processing K-1 visas and green cards, and I've helped so many people get their green cards approved. I helped one guy get his green card approved after it was disapproved and denied, and he was getting ready to be deported because his wife filled out the paperwork incorrectly on the 485 and the 484. They got in a big hurry. Hurry. Don't do that. When you fill out paperwork for immigration, don't get in a big hurry. Don't rush. Take your time. Check every, don't make any mistakes. Don't make stupid mistakes. Don't forget to sign the paperwork. Don't forget to repeat the medical exam. If you're going to be filing for a 2-year green card, you have to repeat the medical exam by a civil surgeon authorized by the State Department to give medical exams for green cards. It's easy to do. I called up the doctor over in Pensacola and set an appointment. And this was back in 2024 when Karina first got to the United States. We went over to it. We went to the doctor. He did the medical exam and re-signed the I-693, recertified her vaccinations, put it in a sealed envelope, gave us a copy. And then that went in her green card application. Repeat medical exam. We did it back when it wasn't mandatory. But I knew it was going to be mandatory, so I included it anyway, just to cover the base. Because I knew it was going to become mandatory, I just didn't know when. So some folks filed for 2-year green cards without the medical exam, and then they got RFEs. Where's your medical exam? We got a new process in place. Remember, President Trump is in the White House, and he's running Homeland Security, and he's tightening the ship. He's making it a very strict process to get a green card. And then, but he's not blocking you from getting the green card as long as you are qualified for the benefit. I saw, the fake news saying that everybody with a green card now has to go back to their home country to get to pre-process or process their green card. It's all baloney. It's not true. It's not true. The only time you will have to go back to your home country, okay, to process your green card is if you came to the United States on a tourist visa or a student visa or a temporary work visa and you married an American. Then you got to file for the green card in your home country at the embassy. It's called consular processing. You don't come to America on your student visa, marry an American, and then get your 2-year green card. Those days are over. You are not going to jump the line in front of us or in front of you guys anymore. They've been jumping the line for years. The easy process. No more. We went by the book. We followed congressional law. You guys are going by the book. You're filing the K-1 visas. You're filing the 2-year green card adjustment of status. You're filing the 10-year green card applications within 90 days before your 2-year green card expires. You look at your 2-year green card. You check the expiration date. 90 days, within that 90-day window of time before it expires, you file for your 10-year green card. If you don't, you're going to have a notice of deportation. You got to go in front of an immigration judge and explain why you didn't lift the conditions off your 2-year green card within the 90 days before it expired. You're going to have to explain. And if you don't have a good enough excuse, okay, like you were in the hospital with a serious illness or something like that, if you can't give a good excuse, you're going to be deported. If you come to the United States on a tourist visa, marry an American, and file for a 2-year green card, you will receive a notice to appear in front of an immigration judge to explain why you came to America on a tourist visa and got married. And then you will be sent home. And then your American citizen sponsor is going to have, or husband or wife is going to then have to file an I-130 petition, just like everybody else. I've been running this YouTube channel for a long time now, and I've been saying over and over and over, don't come to America on a tourist visa and get married and then expect to file a 2-year green card application. Some people were doing it. They were getting lucky. But those days are over. So that means that the process is going to speed up for you guys. If you came in on a K-1 and you filed your adjustment of status paperwork, the process should get a little faster because immigration is no longer going to be processing green cards for those line jumpers. They're trying to use that fast pass at Disney World, but they didn't earn it. You guys follow the rules. You're going to get your green cards and you're going to get your K-1 visas approved because you did it right. Okay? That's all Trump did. That's all he said. That's what he did. He's enforcing the law. They turned a blind eye to it in the past. And it slowed down the process for you guys who did it by the book. Those line jumpers, okay, are now going to have to get their asses to the back of the line and get in line like everybody else and process through consular processing. No more shortcuts. Okay? So hopefully that helps you guys. I hope that you don't stress this process. If you qualify for the benefit, you're going to get it. You just got to wait your turn. And as for those countries that are on pause or on block, the Congress is the only body that can do that. Okay? The president cannot say, we don't like people from this country, so we're not going to process green cards from this country. You can't do that. It violates congressional law. Okay? So just be patient and wait for the immigration attorneys to take it to court and unwind that crap that was put in place. Okay? You should not discriminate against a country because you don't like that country. And as far as when they said, the State Department said that 75 countries are put on block for those folks who are married to foreign nationals, they're blocking their I-130 adjudication at consular processing while they're trying to remove people from the United States who came in on tourist visas to process consular processing. It's quite apparent to me that the Trump administration basically just does not like legal immigration. It seems like they're spending a lot of time on going after legal immigration now, in concert with those folks who are in this country illegally. Elections have consequences. Trump did a good job in securing the border and protecting us from illegal immigrants. He's basically shut the border down, so you can't sneak in our country anymore. Okay? But those folks with green cards, or those folks who are married to foreign nationals overseas waiting to get adjudicated as per congressional law at embassies around the world, like folks from Colombia, Brazil, Morocco. And then Trump said, "Oh, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to block you." Really? I don't ever remember the Congress approving that, because they haven't. So it's going to get thrown out in court. Just be patient. And then in November, we have elections, and all those politicians that are attacking American citizens' families because they're married to foreign nationals, basically they're going to get thrown out of office on their ear. And just be patient. Vagnon. Hello, Diego and Karina. Hope the Vegas trip was fun. Oh, we had good. We spent 3 days in Las Vegas, and we went all over a bunch of other places. My wife and I also sent in our I-71 package. Best advice is to send in yours early to avoid mistakes, and spouse won't be out of status. Well, here's what happens if you don't file the I-751 within the 90 days. As long as you file it within the 90 days before your 2-year green card expires, you're in status. Okay? So let's supposing your green card expires on June 30th, 2026, and you file for the 10-year green card on June 29th. And it's on UPS or FedEx or DHL stamp it June 29th. You're in status. Even though the green card's expired, you have a document, a receipt from UPS, okay, or FedEx or DHL that says that they delivered your package on the day before your 2-year green card expires. You're in status. But if you file for the 10-year green card a day after your 2-year green card expires, and it gets a date stamp of received at USCIS 4 or 5 days after your green card expires, you're out of status. And you're basically done. You're like a marshmallow in the cookie in the bonfire. You're done. Copperhead, Diego, any follow-up from the texting when she sent me what she said to me? Copperhead, you should have blocked that freaking woman from your phone and from Facebook and Instagram, so you cannot receive any text messages from that lady who tried to rip you off $5,000. You should have blocked her. You should not even be receiving any communication from that person. She tried to rip you off $5,000. She said, "I need $5,000 to help my brother get his work visa for Australia." And you said, "No, I'm not going to give you $5,000 for your brother to get a work visa for Australia." And then she started deleting pictures of you and her together in Instagram and Facebook or wherever it was. And then she ghosted you. Why do you even give a crap what she emails you or texts you? You should have withdrawn the application for the K1 visa. You should have blocked her on every communication device. You shouldn't even be talking to this woman because she's a scammer. Okay? She's a scammer. If you want me to help you find a real girlfriend for a real relationship, I will help you. There's plenty of good people in South America, which is a 6-8 hour flight from Florida or Texas. It's close, right?
It's cerca, muy cerca. It's close. You don't have to be flying to the freaking Philippines to find a girlfriend when you can. I mean, really, that's a 24-hour flight with connections in New York and what, Singapore or South Korea, and it's $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 one way, or $5,000 or $4,000 round trip. That's crazy. I help you. I'll find you a girlfriend. You withdrew your application. Okay, you terminated that relationship. You saved yourself a massive headache. Now it's time to find somebody else. And take your time developing the relationship. Let's see here. Copperhead, any follow-up? Follow-up is block her ass from your phone, block her on Instagram and Facebook, and zero communication. No more, zero, nothing. Okay? You understand what I'm telling you? I'll help you find somebody else. Karina's got lots of single friends in Venezuela, Colombia. All right? Relax, man. I'll help you. Lena Earl, 8505. Hello, Lena Earl. How are you? What's going on? What's going on in your part of the world? How is your family? Fazak, we both got some good tans on vacation. Well, yeah, I'm trying to catch up with Karina's tan. We've been all over the place. We were in California, Nevada, Arizona, Utah. We were all over the place. I'm showing Karina everything I can possibly show her on the West Coast of the United States. I mean, she loved it. We went to a Las Vegas show with Piff the Magic Dragon. We went to the Zion National Park. We went to Bryce Canyon. We went to all these different places in Southern California. And we bumped into Arnold Schwarzenegger on Santa Monica Beach. He was riding his bike around the Santa Monica, the bike path. Arnold Schwarzenegger came around the corner, almost ran over Karina, and Karina waved at him. Hey, Arnold, what's up? Hey, ¿cómo estás? And Arnold Schwarzenegger said, hey, how are you? He waved at her, and then he kept going on his little bike ride. So Karina got to meet Arnold Schwarzenegger in Santa Monica while he was on his 10-speed bike. I was just as much surprised to see him as Karina was. I didn't have enough time to get a picture. I just really didn't have enough time to get my phone out and take a picture or video. I didn't have the time. He was high and by. But Karina she walked down Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills. She walked on Hollywood Boulevard in Hollywood. We went to a Las Vegas show. We did a bunch of stuff. Okay, we're already planning our next vacation. And we're making videos for you guys. Copperhead, yes, I have submitted withdrawal paperwork. Copperhead, that's the best thing you could have done. I know it's tough. I know it was hard for you to do that. I know it was hard. Okay, I know it was difficult. But it's the only thing you can do. Okay? You gotta take that lady and run her through the shredder. In your mind, clean your brain of her, and then find somebody else. You didn't even use your K-1 visa. You didn't use it. So you still got 2. Okay? You're good. But if you listen to me, if you pay attention to me and listen to me, I'm going to save you a big headache, and I'm going to help you find somebody else. And then you're going to be happy as a clam. Just like I'm so happy to have found Karina in Colombia. But she's originally from Venezuela. Apparently Trump doesn't like Venezuelans. Some days he does, some days he doesn't. Some days he says, let's make Venezuela the 51st state. And then some days he's trying to block Karina from getting her 10-year green card. But none of it's going to happen. She's going to get her 10-year green card. And then, think about it. President Trump is saying, we're going to block green card holders from getting their 10-year green cards for now, temporarily. But we want to make Venezuela the 51st state, and that would automatically make him a U.S. citizen. Go figure. I can't figure it out. But I'm not worried about it because we have elections in November, and President Trump is doing a great job in securing our borders. He's just being a little different. He's being a little, off the curve there with green card holders. But for the most part, he's doing a good job. For the most part. So, but he's not there forever. It's temporary. He's in there temporary. By January of 2029, he's gone. He's history. He'd be playing golf in Mar-a-Lago. Okay, but he's done a great job in securing our borders. All those illegal immigrants and those criminal, are being rounded up and kicked out of this country. We don't want you here. You want to come to America, come here legally, just like Karina did, just like you guys are doing. Let me see. Lena Earl, my fiance case is at Jamaican Embassy. Okay, no problem. I was able to fill out the DS-160. Now that's a Department of State form. Very good. We're stuck at the payment due to no appointments available. I was in the same boat. I got the DS-160 filled out with Karina, and then I had to wait for an opening to open up at the embassy in Bogota, Colombia. And then I kept checking at 4 o'clock in the morning and at 11 o'clock at night. 4 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock at night, I went into the U.S. travel docs looking for an open slot for the embassy appointments in Bogota. And then lo and behold, there was one opening in November of 2023. I got it. I jumped right in there. Boom! Plus the biometrics. Boom! I scheduled Karina's embassy interview in Bogota. She went in there. They interrogated her for 20 minutes or 15, 20 minutes, asked her about 13 questions, made her get a letter from the president of Colombia for a character reference, made her get an Interpol police certificate, made her produce her Venezuelan police certificate and her basic Colombian police certificate. She got investigated. She got more. She's qualified now for a top secret frigging clearance. That's how much they investigated her, Karina. She got approved for her K1. We flew from Bogota together to Miami. We drove home. I rented a car, SUV. And 2 years went by like that. Now we're waiting on the immigration folks in Elgin, Illinois to open up her box of goodies and send me a text message to say they received it. Well, I know they received it because I have the receipt from UPS. I just got to get them to open up the box and look at the G1145. And I'm sure they're busy people. Lena Earl, good. And you, great so far? Yeah, we're great. We got back from vacation. We're tired. I mean, that's a lot of. We made it to Dallas Fort Worth. We made it through the security checkpoint. I mean, now we flew domestically from Florida to Georgia to Nevada, from Nevada to Texas. When we got to Dallas to come back, they canceled our flight because of bad weather in Dallas. We're sitting there waiting for our flight. We're getting ready for boarding, and it said flight canceled. I'm like, what the heck? Bad weather in Dallas, Texas. There's a big storm came through, and the federal government, the FAA, closed the airport of all flights leaving, including our flight back to Florida. So we got stuck in Dallas, Fort Worth. So what do we have to do? Well, I got off my ass and I walked over to the closest, helper person, and I said, hey, our flight just got canceled. And the guy said, go on your phone, go onto your app and rebook your flight. I said, what do you mean I got to rebook my flight? You freaking canceled my flight. You rebooked my flight. I don't have an app on my phone. I have bare minimum apps on the phone, bare minimum. He said, you don't have an app on your phone? I said, no. So he said, okay. He went in his computer and he rerouted us from Dallas to Washington, D.C. to Florida, Pensacola. So we had to wait 24 hours in the airport. So we were sitting in the chair. We spent the night sitting in the chair in the airport. And then we got up the next morning. We didn't sleep. And we flew from Dallas to Washington, D.C. And Karina looks out the window, and off the plane, she could see the, Washington, D.C. She couldn't get off the plane, obviously. We got off the plane, and then we flew back to Florida. So I'm surprised we even made it back yesterday. Was it yesterday? I mean, seriously. I thought they told us we were going to be stuck in Dallas for 3 days because the flights were booked up. I said, no, that ain't happening, dude. Karina's got to get back to work. I got videos to make. Reroute us. Send us anywhere. So he sent us from Dallas to Washington back to Florida. Here we are. We made it back. Let's see here. Lena Earl, I love Vegas. Yeah, Vegas is great. The weather especially. No humidity. And we went to a show, Piff the Magic Dragon. If you go to Las Vegas, go see Piff the Magic Dragon. He's a magician and a comedian. Absolutely fantastic. And then at the end of his show, he invited us outside for a photo op. He invited us. So we got to stand out with him and get pictures taken with him and his assistant. He's a famous person, you know. So Karina got to say hi to Arnold Schwarzenegger in Santa Monica, and she got to a photo shoot with Piff the Magic Dragon, and he's a British comedian, magician, lives in Las Vegas, and he's doing a show in the Flamingo Hotel. Copperhead. So it's a wash, Diego. Will I receive any more notifications, or is that it? No, you're done. You filed the withdrawal letter with the National Visa Center, USCIS, and the embassy, right? You send all three places, and the embassy especially. The embassy received the withdrawal notification, okay? So that's it. You're done. You're finished. She cannot come to the United States, okay, because you withdrew the visa. Look for somebody else. Look for a new girlfriend. Build a new relationship with somebody that's not going to try to rip you off and get a green card. She was just trying to rip you off and get a green card. That's all she was trying to do, man. And I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to shake you around a little bit so you forget about her and understand that there are millions and millions of single females on the planet all around the world that would love to be with you. And they won't try to rip you off. Okay? You got to trust each other. You got to be in a relationship. You got to love each other. Okay? She didn't love you. She loved your bank account, man. Run her through the shredder. Forget about her. It's history. But the thing is, you learned how to process a K-1 visa, right? You learned how to do it. You learned how the consular processing works. You learned how to do this, and this. You have all. So the money you spent, the $600 or so you spent on the K-1 visa, just consider that like you paid for a class in K-1 visa processing. You went to school on K-1 visa processing. You paid for the class, $600 or $650, whatever it is. You paid the consular fee, $260, something like that, $265. Add that money together. That's the money you paid for your lesson on K-1 visas. Now you got all this knowledge in your head, right? You're going to be all right, Copperhead. You're going to be just fine. Look, I got Karina. Look at how, I'm locked out big time to get such a good person, Seriously. Let's see here. Lena Earl, I haven't made it to Cali yet. Cali, okay, well, that's okay. You don't have to make it there. Let me see. Greg Santos deleted the message. Van John. To Lena Earl, keep checking since every U.S. embassy has different time slots. Good advice. I had to check 2 times for my fiance. Now my wife. Pick the date and time. You see, you can't be picky. When I went into U.S. Travel Docs for like 2 weeks, 4 o'clock in the morning and at 11 o'clock at night. I can do that because I'm retired. Boom, there it is. November. I think what? ¿Qué fecha para tu cita en Baja? On November 16th, I scheduled her K-1 visa interview at the embassy in Bogota. And then biometrics. So you're right, Banjo. Lena Earl. Yes, I'm checking. Tryback Monday was told typically they open the 1st of the month for June appointments. No, check it. Check it tonight, 11 o'clock at night. Check tomorrow, 4 o'clock in the morning. Keep checking. Greg Santos, 6356. Hi, Diego and Karina. Have a nice weekend. It's the weekend? Wow, yeah, Saturday, yeah. Where do I send I-751 package from Hollywood, Florida? It goes to Elgin, Illinois. Elgin, Illinois. And if you want, I will give you the address. There, I have it here somewhere. No, I have the address here somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. But it goes to Elgin, Illinois. And you send it FedEx, UPS, or DHL. Okay? Let me see if I can find the address. Or come back on Monday for the live stream, and I'll give you the address on Monday. But it goes to Elgin, Illinois. Lena Earl, that is terrible, tricking others for an opportunity. Yeah, it's terrible. Messing with somebody's heart and goodness of the person, the good character. Copperhead's a good person, good character, lots of integrity. Let me see. Did you find it? Okay. I'm going to look it up for you right here. 751 address. And it goes to Elgin. I'll give you the address right now. If I can. If I can't, then I can't. Okay, here's where it goes. If you live in Hollywood, Florida, here's where you send your I-751. It goes to USCIS. Okay. Attention, like in the military, right? Attention, I-751. This only pertains to using FedEx or DHL or UPS, and if you live in Florida. Okay? And then you're going to put in there box. This is the address if you live in Florida to mail your 751. Box 4072. Bear with me. I'm not ignoring you guys, okay? I'm helping out this person here. Box 4072, 2500 Westfield Drive. Okay, make sure you're writing this down now. Westfield Drive, Elgin, Illinois. This is if you live in Florida and you're filing your 751. Okay. Elgin, Illinois, 60124, 60124-7836. Now, if you live in Florida, Hollywood, Florida, and you're gonna use either UPS, FedEx, or DHL. That is where you mail your 751 application. You got it? Greg Santos. How about that for service? Right there. I gave you the address. Boom. There it is. Write it down. Let me see. Lena Earl. I went through that. My ex-husband started changing after he got his 10 years. So your ex-husband, so you got his 10-year green card, and then he started to become a problem. So he came to the United States, got a 2-year green card, then he got his 10-year green card, and then he was a problem. Not good, right? That's why the process is so strict. Immigration is so strict. That's why it's such a freaking difficult to get now. To protect American citizens from those kind of people, and to protect beneficiaries from bad Americans. Maru, hello Diego and Karina. Maru, how was you doing? Now Maru, her fiance is in Cameroon. You got your NOA2 letter, right? Now you're just waiting on the embassy to receive your paperwork. Then you can pay the consulate fee and start that process for the K1 visa interview at the embassy in Cameroon. It's going to take a couple of months, okay, Maru? But you're patient. We're going to pull you over the finish line. We're pulling everybody over the finish line. Lena Earl, I figured since it's the weekend, it wouldn't update. Who knows? It probably may not, but it could. You never know, right? I will check later, Lena Earl. I'll check later. Check at 11 o'clock tonight. Check. You never know. Let's see. Maru, I'm doing well. And yes, I'm just waiting for the National Visa Center. So everybody understands the process, right? You meet somebody, you date each other for a year, you collect all the evidence, you file the K-1 visa to Louisville, Texas, you wait for the NOA-1 letter. The NOA-1 letter comes to you saying you didn't screw up the paperwork. They cashed they took your money out of your checking account. 6 months, 7, 8 months later, 9 months later, you got your NOA-2 letter. The NOA-2 letter approved your K-1 visa. Then you got to wait 2 or 3 months for the USCIS Service Center to mail your K-1 visa approval to the National Visa Center in New Hampshire. The New Hampshire National Visa Center get it. They look at it to make sure there's no mistakes. If there's no mistakes, they will then forward it to the embassy or the consulate in the foreign country where you designated you wanted to have the consulate interview. When you fill out USCIS form I-129F, there's a space on there that says, where do you want to have the consulate interview? Well, even though Karina's from Venezuela, she was living in Bogota, Colombia, I wrote down Bogota, Colombia, U.S. Embassy, Bogota. That's where she had her visa interview. I mean, you could be living in Singapore, and then in a few months, you're going to be returning to the Philippines. So if you know you're going to be back in the Philippines by the time you get the K-1 visa approval and the visa interview set up, you're going to put the consulate interview at the U.S. Embassy in Manila, not in the U.S. Embassy in Singapore. You see what I'm saying? Well, we're glad you're doing well, Maru and Greg Santos. Thanks. You're welcome. See, Greg, I gave you the address, but that address is only good if you use UPS, FedEx, or DHL. Do not mail any immigration paperwork to immigration, the Service Center, Louisville, Texas, using the U.S. postal system. Okay? Don't do it. Make sure you use a private courier service to guarantee your stuff gets where it needs to go. So it costs you $10 more to use a courier service. Do you really care? Would you not rather pay a little bit more money to make sure it gets where it's supposed to be than to worry about it not getting where it's supposed to be? Right? I mean, I'm not trying to bash the postal system, but it's almost freaking bankrupt. I mailed a check in December to a company, and they never got it. They sent me a letter just a few days ago while on vacation. I got it in the informed delivery. Hey, we didn't get the check. I sent it 5 months ago using USPS. So I had to, when I got back from vacation, the first thing I had to do was go to the post office and resend the check, but I sent it certified freaking mail to make sure they get it, to make them sign for the freaking document. It's crazy, right? When we shipped Karina's 10-year green card application to Elgin, Illinois, to the address that I just posted up here, using UPS, because that's the closest place, they got it in 3 days. I didn't send it rush delivery. Somebody signed for it at the office front desk, at the USCIS office front desk. They got it. They signed for it. He signed his name. And now it's been, today's what, May 23rd. So it's May 23rd, 2026. They received it May 12th, 2026. So what's that? 13 days? The average time of turnaround for Elgin, Illinois is 2 weeks to 3 weeks. So in the next 10 days or 2 weeks from now, they'll send me a text message saying, yeah, we got your stuff. And then they will mail Karina her 4-year extension letter. Okay, yeah, Karina's from Venezuela. They got green cards on the ports. But there's powerful immigration attorneys who are suing the crap out of these people to make them adjudicate cases. But Karina's going to get a 4-year extension letter. By the time her 2-year green card and that 4-year extension letter, by the time the 4-year extension letter expires, Trump would have been out of office a year and a half. Be a new president. It's going to be a new Congress. And immigration is going to not be so strict, I think. I got no problem with immigration being strict in making sure illegals don't come in, that fraudulent applications don't get processed, that criminals don't get U.S. citizenship. I'm all in on that. But don't be screwing around with people who came to this country by the book and have total legitimate green cards. You want to put them on pause? Okay. But when I get to a point where I'm sick of waiting, I'm going to have an attorney I'm going to have a federal judge force them to review the case. Not because I want to sue immigration. I really don't, because they're doing a good job for the most part. I don't want to sue them. I want them to do their freaking job. And if I got to make them do their job, and in regards to congressional law, I'll file a mandamus lawsuit. What was it, $400? I don't need an immigration attorney. I can do it by myself. Maru, should we be worried about the new memo that came out yesterday for K1 visas? No, Maru, you should not worry. You got nothing to worry about. Let me explain to you what that memo was saying. Immigration attorneys are scaring the living daylights out of green card holders to make some more clients, I guess. I don't know. But let me tell you what that memo says. In simple 10th grade, no lawyer speak lingo. If you came to this country, the United States of America, on a tourist visa, a student visa, or a temporary work visa, and you married an American, you have to go back to your home country to process your consular processing green card. Lots of people were coming to this country on tourist visas and student visas and temporary work visas, marrying Americans, and then filing for adjustment of status in the United States. Jumping the line in front of us, in front of you, jumping in front of everybody. Taking shortcuts to beat the system. President Trump said, that ain't happening. If you come to this country on a tourist visa, go on freaking vacation and enjoy the vacation. And if you meet somebody, or you've met somebody, or you've come to see your fiance, you can get married in America. There's no rule against that. But now you have to go back to your home country to process the I-130. Just like everybody else. Just like everybody else. Us, you, everybody. But they were jumping the line, and I didn't like that. And I've been complaining about that for years on this YouTube channel. When I was in Bogota, Colombia, running the live stream from Bogota, Colombia with Karina, I was complaining about the line jumpers. Now that loophole is blocked, which means instead of immigration adjudicating green cards for people that jump the line, now they are adjudicating green cards for you guys that came here on the K1s and did it properly and were paroled at the Border Patrol checkpoint in the United States. Vaj Nong, we were very fortunate a day after the Tempe, Arizona office received our package. They emailed and texted my wife, so her 4-year extension letter will be mailed soon. That's good. Yeah, Tempe, Arizona may have less of a workload than Elgin, Illinois. Elgin, Illinois may be more busy. But we understand they're busy, so we're just going to wait. We already received notification from UPS that they received our package and they signed for it. So we know they got it. Maru, okay, thank you for the explanation. You're good, Maru. You're following. Listen, Maru, just imagine this. Imagine your fiance in Cameroon flew to the United States on a tourist visa. Then you guys got married. That would be a problem for you right now because his green card would not be approved. He would be told to return back to Cameroon. But you filed a K1 visa application. You followed congressional law. You filed for a K1. It got approved. Now you're waiting for it to get sent to the National Visa Center. The National Visa Center will then send it to the U.S. Embassy in Cameroon. The U.S. Embassy in Cameroon will then adjudicate it. You're going to then set up a visa appointment at the embassy, pay the consular fee. He's going to go to his visa interview, and hopefully you can accompany him to the visa interview, fly to Cameroon and be there with him. Then he'll get his K1 visa. You fly to the United States. And then you file for the 2-year green card, and then you just have to wait because Cameroon is on the list of poorest countries. But it only applies to immigrant visas, not non-immigrant visas. A K1 is a non-immigrant visa. A non-immigrant visa. So he's not going to be blocked at the embassy. He's just going to be put on a hold waiting when he files for the 2-year green card in the United States. But don't worry about it. As long as you get married within 90 days and file the paperwork within 90 days, you're good. Easy, right? Are you learning anything from this channel, guys? I'm trying to teach you things. I want you to be able to learn how to do this. Okay? I want you to join as a member. Down here, there's a place you can join as a member. If you join as a member, you get this phone number. Then you can call me. You can email me your questions. You can email me your entire freaking package if you want. Your K1 visa application, your adjustment of status paperwork. And I can go over it for you to make sure you don't make any stupid mistakes. Just sign. It's $9.99 if you want to sign up as a member. And I don't really need the money. It's not that I want your money. I don't want your money. I just got to know who's got the email address and the phone number. So that way that protects the channel, because the phone number and the email address are tied to the YouTube channel. And if I put my phone number out here publicly, or the email address, there's a lot of hackers out there, a lot of nasty individuals that would just love to try to take down the channel. Well, they're not going to, because I was a computer programmer in my past life. So I know how to protect the computer. But the only reason I ask for a membership fee is so I know who's got the phone number and I know who's got the email address. That's the only reason. Okay? I got a list of people who are members. I know those people, where they're at. Those people have the contact information. Plus, you can get all this help anytime, 7 days a week. You don't have to wait for a live stream to ask me questions. You can call me or text me. I help people every day. We got 32 members. We got 32 members. Okay? We got 32 members. I'm going to have a max membership of 50. I'm not going to go past 50 people. So when I reach 50 people as members, then I'm going to block it from any future members, unless somebody cancels out and then it goes down to 49. Then I'll open it up to somebody else. But right now I've got 32 members, right? So I've got another, how many slots? Come on, how many slots do I have left? Mathematicians out there. Brownie RSPS. Support Diego. You won't regret it. Brownie RSPS, our friend from the United Kingdom, now living in Missouri, moving to Tennessee. Right? Brownie, you're moving to Tennessee. Now make sure, Brownie, when you move to Tennessee, that you get a Tennessee driver's license within at least 30 days of moving to Tennessee. I got 18 spots left for membership. Very good. Vajnon, you're the mathematician. If you text me your address, Vajnon, Karina will mail you a free bag of her coffee. Fazak, absolutely the best $9.99 investment you can make for navigating the process. Diego is a treasure. Well, thank you, Fazak. I've been doing this for 13 years. Okay. Did I forget to say? Vaginal. Yes, if not for this channel, I'd have lost a lot of money and the headaches. Yeah, it would have cost you lots. Some immigration attorneys aren't cheap. We've made it from K1 to the adjustment of status and now the I-751. We are blessed to have Diego and Karina's channel. Okay. So we helped you go through the whole shebang, the whole process. It would have cost you maybe $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 with an immigration attorney, with all the things that you had to do. $8,000 is better. It's better than money that's in your bank, right? I'll take your $9.99 and you take that $8,000 and put it somewhere else for a vacation. Let's see here. Brownie, yes. And Vajnong, you have 18 spots left. Brownie RSPS. We will be going to the DMV in Tennessee the week we move for sure. Make sure you do. Listen to me. You don't want immigration, giving you a hard time because you didn't comply with Tennessee state law, which requires you to change driver's licenses. John Lane, 2256. John, very good. Glad you enjoy your trip out west. Yeah, we had a great trip out west. Karina went to California. We went to California, Arizona, Nevada, and Utah. Next year we got to hit New Mexico, maybe Oregon. I don't know. There's not what the heck is there to do in Oregon? I mean, really, there's nothing to do. There's nothing to do there. It's just a bunch of trees, right? It's a beautiful state, but a bunch of trees. But in New Mexico, they got all the UFO crash sites. In Aztec, New Mexico, there's the UFO crash site. In Corona, New Mexico, there's the Skip site. You got the UFO Route Museum in Roswell. You got the Sandia tram. The Sandia, what do you call it? Teleferico in Spanish, right? In Sandia Mountains. So New Mexico's got the Gallup, you got Red Rock State Park, you got Church Rock, you got the Carlsbad Caverns. New Mexico is just calling our name. But we're also going to go back to Nevada. I loved it. I mean, we love Nevada. The climate. Look how quick I got a freaking suntan. And I gained like 10 pounds because I ate good food. Chris like, hey, but you're not like a skinny runt anymore. I said, no, I gained my weight back. So we're planning, and I also want to take Corinna to New York City. We've already been to Washington, D.C. on the route. When we flew back from Dallas, we had to go through Washington because of the bad weather. So I promised I'd take Corinna to Washington for the day. We can go to New York City for a week. We can explore New York City, the Empire State Building, the Natural History Museum, do Central Park. And then we can take a day trip to Washington and do all the Washington D.C. Sightseeing. You can do it. We can do it. It's like a 14-hour day, but we can do it. Fazak, Brownie RSPS, I'm a Scouser. What's a Scouser? I don't know what the Fazak. Tell everybody what is a Scouser. I don't know what a Scouser is. Okay, guys, I've been talking for an hour, 57 minutes, almost an hour. If you have any questions, Liverpool, from Liverpool. Okay, that's the football teams, right? The football, Liverpool. Who used to play for Liverpool? Famous people that used to play football for Liverpool. I'm trying to remember names. I don't know. Steven Gerrard. Okay. Anybody got any more questions on K1 visas, green cards? Any questions? Because I'm going to log off and I'm going to chill out with Corinna. We're tired. We traveled over. We've been all around the United States, the west coast of the United States. We are wore out. We walked all over Las Vegas for 3 days. We are wore out, tired. We're going to go and lay down and watch a movie. We'll see you on Monday. Brownie RSPS, have a good evening. If you're heading off, we're heading off now. Glad you enjoyed your trip. We had a blast. And check out the videos. I'm making videos for you guys during the day. I'm just trying to figure out how to download all these videos from the freaking phone from the cloud into the computer and then make a video. I should have just took the camera and used SIM cards. It would have been a whole lot easier for me to organize the videos if I took the camera. But no, I got lazy. I just used the freaking phone. Now I'm trying to figure out how to get the videos off of here into the cloud, onto the computer, and then edit it, and then do all the editing and everything. It's a real freaking nightmare. I'm going to use a camera next time on our next vacation. See you guys on Monday. Oh, it's a holiday. Memorial Day. That's right.